Godzilla! Japan has created a bunch of characters that have ended up becoming known worldwide. Hello Kitty, Pikachu, Mario, even Goku, and countless others are beloved around the world, and today we'll be looking at one of my personal favourites, Godzilla. Specifically, the Godzilla Tokyo Clash board game. He's a character that needs no introduction, but just in case you're somehow unaware, I'll give a brief rundown. Godzilla, aka Gojira, first appeared in the 1954 film of the same name. In this cinema classic, a giant monster called Godzilla destroys cities in a metaphor demonstrating the catastrophic consequences of atomic bombs. Later sequels, reboots, and even foreign edits reinvented the character as a defender of humanity, a stand-in for the Fukushima disaster, and even a terrible CG T-Rex in America, but we won't talk about that one. Basically, he's a giant monster who destroys cities and fights other giant monsters. The series has been adapted into other forms of media, including comics, video games, and of course, board games. The most recent of these is Godzilla Tokyo Clash, released by Funko Games in 2020. The game can be played by 2 to 4 players and comes with a recommended age guideline of 10+. The manual reads, "You are Earth's most fearsome kaiju. Gojira, Mothra, King Ghidorah, and Megalon, battling for dominance as the most terrifying monster in Japan." Personally, I find the character choices a bit odd. Godzilla, Mothra, and Ghidorah, sure, but Megalon? Rodan seems like a much better fit in my opinion, as I consider him far more iconic, and would make the game somewhat resemble fan favourite film Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster, albeit with a different Mothra form. Sure, Godzilla vs Megalon also has its fans, but its most iconic moment is Megalon getting absolutely shafted by a dropkick. Twice. I don't want to play as that guy. The playing board is randomly generated each time from a stack of pieces, and the board size even changes depending on the number of players. This adds a lot of replayability to the game, giving a sense of variety without shaking things up so much that you have to learn anything new whenever you play. Canonically, the board is Tokyo, but it's vague enough that you could also imagine it representing anywhere else. 2 event cards are also chosen each session from a choice of 6, which come into play between rounds. 6 is an acceptable number, but given the number of Godzilla movies released over the years, I'm sure a lot more scenarios could have been created. Before starting, one player is randomly assigned King of Monsters. This player will start each round, and from the second round onwards will get 6 cards in their hand instead of 5. Whoever ends the game with the King of Monsters token also receives 2 extra dominance value. Having the token gives you a strong advantage, but also makes you a likely target to attack. Players can attack other players, and if someone successfully attacks the King of Monsters, they get the King of Monsters token. The game doesn't use dice. Movement is instead decided by your kaiju cards, with a unique deck for each monster. Cards give the user the ability to move, attack, or defend, and sometimes have a bonus effect too. However, the cards can't just be used freely, as the top right of the card denotes how much energy it takes to perform that action. Extra energy can be earned by destroying buildings and vehicles. The aim of the game is to finish with the highest dominance value, which is earned by fighting other monsters. If an attack isn't fully blocked, the attacker gets to take cards from the top of their opponent's deck and place the cards with the most dominance value in their trophy deck. For example, if a card with an attack value of 6 is used against a card with a block value of 2, the attacker gets to look at 4 cards and choose the best. Once every player passes consecutively, the players draw a new hand, the event cards come into play, and the Auction Destroyer moves along the damage track. Once the Auction Destroyer reaches the end point or passes any small buildings, the game is over. Whoever holds the most dominance value wins. Being a strategy game, there is a lot to learn and keep track of, meaning this game will lose some people and isn't suitable for all situations. Though in the right place, at the right time, with the right people, the game can certainly work. It will come down to personal taste and the player's interest in the Godzilla franchise, but for me, it has just enough going on that it stimulates my brain without quite crossing the line where I lose track of what's going on. The kaiju miniatures are fairly well made. They're not painted with detail, but they are easily distinguishable. My main complaint is Mothra, who comes in her winged form, meaning she has a stand which has snapped a couple of times during setup. I'd love it if there are expansion packs featuring other monsters, though there don't currently seem to be any plans to do so. I'd love Rodan, Anguirus, Mechagodzilla, Lava Mothra, or Toho vs Kong. I'd even be up for bringing in alternate continuities like the Monsterverse or Shin Godzilla, who could have a wide range of interesting abilities given what he does in that film. Overall, it's a pretty good board game that I would recommend to strategy game players who also like Godzilla, though it could certainly be improved if Funko released expansions.